empowering people and inspiring change. My name is Melissa Blen, and I am the founder of Epic Love, cultivating self-love, freedom, and purpose all around mental and physical well-being. This week, we're going to talk about how saying no is the highest form of self-love and self-respect that you can give yourself. And the reason why I chose this topic is I wanted to piggyback off last week's blog. And if you hadn't had a chance to read it or watch the video, I encourage you to do so, because in that video, we talk about how your self-concept about yourself, your self-image, your self-esteem, and your ideal beliefs ultimately link to your self-confidence about yourself and how you show up for yourself on a day-to-day basis. And why is saying no one of the most challenging things when it comes to taking care of our mental and physical well-being and having more space and freedom in our life to actually co-create the life that we want? Well, the number one reason why it's such a challenge is because most people say yes so they can feel loved, accepted, belonging, and if I say yes to you, you'll ultimately love me. And I'm here to tell you that's bullshit and it's false. And the undertone of that behavior stems from, more often than not, is you never got the love and the care that you needed as a child efficiently. If one or both parents were absent from your upbringing, or there was dysfunction, you most likely, or if you had a parent that was an overachiever, you're likely to be one of those individuals that are always on the hunt for doing more, and overachieving to feel loved, liked, accepted, and belonging, when deep down, the only person that you end up hurting in the long run is yourself. So saying no is absolutely the foundation to self-love and self-respect. And when you start to practice saying no, it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar, and it's unpredictable. So ultimately, it's scary as shit, right? I call them the butt pucker moments. For my clients and those of you out there, you know that I use, is it a butt pucker? And when it's a butt pucker, that means it's a place that's unfamiliar for you, that if you step into that space, you will start to rewire neural pathways in your brain to create a new belief system, a new self-identity, a new form of self-esteem, and most importantly, new beliefs that you believe about yourself. So, how do you say no if you've been a people pleaser, or say yes more often than not? Because you've identified your yes as, again, one of those entities as wanting to be loved, respected, and ultimately get recognition. But one of the ways you can first start to identify is if you are one of those people that say yes, and overdo for everyone around you, is notice where you have resentment. Notice where you have resentment. Notice where you're exhausted all the time. Notice what's coming up for you. Notice where you have resentment. Notice where you're exhausted. And when you start to look at those two areas, that right there is an indicator of, in one or both of those areas, you're not practicing boundaries and saying no. And people say to me all the time, why, Melissa, how does this even correlate to, nutrition and physical fitness and mental well-being? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's the foundation of your house. It's the foundation of your identity and your belief systems about yourself. Because what most people don't realize is that every single day, your choices and your behaviors that you make ultimately cast a vote for the type of person that you are or you're becoming. So think about that. Your actions and your behaviors that you do on a day-to-day basis ultimately is the foundation of who your identity is. So when we talked about self-concept last week with self-esteem, your identity beliefs, and all of those things on why your concept of yourself actually really matters when it comes to how you feel, how you show up for yourself, and ultimately how you start becoming a hell yes for yourself and start to feel better. One of the things is when you notice where you're spending a lot of time and you have resentment, is that's one of those areas you need to start stepping back and creating some boundaries and starting to practice no. And again, by saying no, it's going to feel unfamiliar, unsafe, and unpredictable. But that's where the magic happens. That's where the beliefs start to change, because you have to start questioning your beliefs. If I've been acting this way and doing this for so long, how the fuck has it been serving you? Especially if you're overweight, especially if you have anxiety, especially if you have depression, especially if you have any health-related disease going on, you better start asking yourself, what the fuck have you been avoiding? Why are you avoiding yourself? Why are you avoiding saying no? Why are you avoiding making yourself a priority? Because I promise you, the more no you practice, the more self-love you develop for yourself, and the more confident you become, the higher your self-esteem becomes, and your concept of self improves. And it's not attached to the money you have in your bank account, the car that you drive, the title of your job, the house that you have, the relationships you have. It's tied to the relationship that you have with yourself when no one or nothing else is around. Ask yourself that. Empowering people and inspiring change. My name is Melissa Blen, and I'm the founder of Epic Love, cultivating self-love, freedom, and purpose all around mental and physical well-being. Because here's what I know to be true. Until I started making myself a priority, my mental well-being, my physical well-being, I did not have the capacity to start going after the life that I wanted. I didn't have the capacity because I didn't respect myself. If you're struggling with any of the things that I spoke about today, I invite you to visit my link and schedule a free discovery call today. Because here's what I know to be true. If I can do it, so can you.